Hi, friends. Welcome to Getting Your Real Estate Life Together. I'm Tracy Hicks with All Things Real Estate. And today I'm super excited to have my friend Breylan here. So I'm going to let him introduce himself. Breylan.
Hey, Tracy. Thanks for having me. My name's Breylan Deal-Eriksen. I'm a residential real estate broker, principal broker with Windemere Realty Trust out of our Northeast Portland office. I serve the Portland core and what I call first ring suburbs, which are, the closest ones to Portland.
Right. What'd you call them?
First ring suburbs.
First ring?
Yeah.
Where does that come from?
It's a funny thing from the East Coast, but when you look at the freeway system of Portland, it's kind of a circle around the city.
Yeah.
Well, it's more like a triangle.
Yeah,
but, 205, you've got Happy
East.
Valley, you've got Oregon City, West Lynn, so
Okay.
You won't find me out in Canby, but you'll find me out there.
Right. I never even thought of it that way. That's super cute. I like that. Do you use that in your marketing?
I do.
Do you?
I do.
Okay, good. We're going to have to talk about that. So, Breylan, you've changed how you structured your business a couple times within where you're at in Windemere. And I'm always super interested in that and how I see a lot of conversations online about people asking about being a part of a team, or I'm a new agent just starting out. What should I do? Should I work with somebody? I'm in a team and I want out, but I don't know if it's the right thing to do. I also know this about you. You're real meticulous in how you make decisions. The way your business is structured right now, how did you get there?
It's been a long journey, but a lot of fun, So I started out as just a broker on my own, doing every single thing. And then went through a phase where I was trying to hire and train assistants. And, that I think is always a challenge for real estate brokers because your needs change. We have to kind of fly by the seat of our pants on things sometimes. It's like everybody wants to be consistent and close 3 or 5 or however many deals every single month, but it's never like that. You might close 1 in September and then 7 in October, and it can feel overwhelming to be caught up in that 7 in October kind of situation, and then go back to the 1. And so I struggled with hiring my own assistants and putting together the processes and procedures that really needed to happen to make it, successful and a viable working relationship, without being like just too hard on an assistant or having unrealistic expectations. I was in an accountability group with Windemere with a couple of senior brokers, and now a very good friend of mine, Cathy McNaughton, had been talking about, her team and what they had in place. And it dawned on me to propose potentially just buying into her wheel rather than, starting it all
reinventing
over
it
again. Yeah, exactly. And so, over a year or so, we got to really know each other and understood that we are both, very generous people, love kind of throwing ideas back and forth, and just had a really good working relationship. And so we decided to split overhead, and so we share our administrative staff, and it's really cool because we're also covering each other when we're out of town sometimes, and, there as an ear if necessary, because real estate can be kind of a lonely business. There's a lot of car time all by yourself.
By yourself in your phone.
Yeah, exactly. Between the 1,000 emails a day. So it's nice to have that camaraderie.
Yeah.
And then also have just a business partner where we kind of hold each other accountable for, hey, this quarterly marketing thing needs to go. Or what do you think we should do this time? Or especially during the pandemic, it was really interesting. We're still in the pandemic, but early stages, we really focused on doing updates to our sphere, in the way of like an email blog and having Cathy's take on it and then my take. And I think that was interesting and relevant for our clients,
Yeah. And Cathy's been in the business a long time, right?
Oh, she's amazing. I mean, she's been a realtor for over 40 years. She says that it used to sound like she was experienced, but
Did
now
you say
she just
40?
sounds old.
She says what? Sorry.
She says that it used to sound like she's an experienced broker, but now it just makes her sound old.
Old, right. You said 40, right?
Yeah,
oh my
40.
gosh. That's amazing. She's seen it all.
Yeah.
what I love about that too is that I think what a lot of people forget is that it always comes back down to the basics of real estate. Like there's all these bells and whistles and Instagrams and socials and email and all that stuff. But when it comes down to it, it's always just about you and the client and the client in their house. And so I love that, you know, people that have been in this business for a really long time have that perspective still. Like sometimes we all need to be reminded of things. And I think that when you're in a business for that long, you know, it's hard to remember that, but it still always comes back to that.
It does, you know, and markets go up and markets go down. And the thing is, people always need to buy and sell. Yeah. You know, I think so many realtors live in a constant, or at least early on in my career, I was always worried that suddenly the business was going to dry up, or suddenly I wasn't going to be able to make ends meet, or something like that. And even like Barbara Corcoran says, you know, you've got to expand when you're uncomfortable, you know, and take risks. And that's a big challenge as a, you know, sole proprietor or self-employed person. You know, it's a little scary, but if you lean into it and you trust it, I'm kind of be successful.
Yeah, I'm kind of the opposite. I think I'm too risky sometimes. I have to reel myself in. I'm like, okay, I don't have to dive off the diving board every single time. You know, it's like
we all struggle with that.
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah, totally. I want to go back to something you said about sharing in your administrative assistants, because I think that's also another thing that realtors are constantly struggling with. Like I am at that cusp of really needing to hire somebody, but then you do worry about, you know, your business drying up and then you not being able to pay that person. I love this because this is a good way to leverage that and get what you want, but also not have to stress too much about being the only person that's going to feed them, per se.
Well, and one thing that's really unusual for our working relationship, I think, compared to other teams, is people are always trying to split the pie, you know? And of course, there's plenty of pie to go around and everything. But, you know, Cathy can be really busy at one point and I'm down. And then I'm really busy and she's down. You know, it's funny. My business is really interesting because I don't have a lot of clients that are kid focused. I work a lot with millennials, a lot with alternative couples, you know, so my clients aren't necessarily on the school cycle, you know, whereas Cathy's clients a lot of times are. So for me, it's funny because January through April, I'm just pulling my hair out busy, you know, and Cathy might be a little slower. And then before you know it, she's closed 15 million in 3 months over summer.
You're like, whoa, what happened there?
Good God.
Right.
You know, it helps when your price point is so high.
Right. Exactly. And being in the business for 40 years, that's what happens.
Totally.
You know, I mean,
you know,
she started at probably like $40,000 or $50,000 houses.
Yeah, for sure.
Easily.
For sure. One thing that's a real privilege as a real estate broker is if you're really into the people part, you know, you get to watch people's families grow and their needs change. And then keeping in touch with them is just so cool because it's like, oh, you know, now the third or the fourth grandbaby's here. Grandma's moving to Portland. You know, can you help my mom buy a house? You know, and that's just the coolest compliment. So
okay, so you're talking about marketing. Let's talk about that. So what do you do? I want to hear about kind of what you do consistently. And what you have organized, and then what you do maybe not so consistently, but you still do, you know, whether that be social media or whatever. But let's talk about the consistent part. What do you do all the time? Like, what is like your wheel gears?
You know, I think that people identify with I wish I could come up with the 3 C's someone told me about, but I'm not going to be able to come up with that. Sorry. But, you know, people Google like to do business with who they like and they trust, you know, and so a big advantage to having social media in our lives right now is being able to attract people, you know, which is kind of a cool thing. So I've always had a focus on social media of trying to be kind of relevant, interesting, funny, you know, so that people want to see my page. I try not to post a lot of negative things or annoying things. You know, we've all gone through our newsfeed and go, oh God, she's leaving Facebook again. Thanks for the 5th announcement, you know, that kind of stuff. And it's like, no, I'd rather say something funny or post a cute picture of my dog or something about my husband, you know, or whatever's going on in my life, you know. And then also every single listing, every single sale, I want to showcase it, you know. I think it's gotten to a place where my clients look forward to seeing their homes on Instagram, on Facebook. Those are pretty much the two that I'm on. I don't really TikTok or anything like that. I feel like I'm turning into a boomer.
I want to see your TikTok, Breylan.
So that, and then also celebrating the successes, the buyers that are getting their offers accepted in such a challenging market, and little snippets of the negotiating process. It's a nice thing because it keeps me relevant as a real estate broker to my sphere of influence. It also keeps me connected to other brokers in a great way. So I'd say social media has been a really big thing for me.
Yeah.
Without advertising, without being on a business page, it's a lot more casual and kind of like a relaxing place for people to be.
Yeah.
Which generally is how I run my business too.
Yep.
It's professional, but relaxed. And I think that really kind of mirrors just the attitude in Portland overall.
Yeah. Well, and it's a direct reflection of, we always say this about social media, and it's changed a lot, and it's, changes fast, but, we always say, don't try to be something you're not, and just be who you are. Is this all on your personal page, or do you put stuff on your business page as well?
It's all on my personal page. I think that people really enjoy doing business with people that they like and trust. And the best way for people to get to know you is to see, what's going on in your life, and personal with business, sometimes I think it's necessary in such a personal type business that we're in.
Right.
Real estate's one of the only investments you're ever going to make that you have to live in and appreciate while it's appreciating.
Totally.
It's way different than buying a stock, way different than buying a car. To go to my point before, it's all about, how do you live in your house? Are you proud to be there? Totally. And really fostering that.
Yeah. I love that. So now you talked about email marketing and that kind of stuff.
Yeah. So, we try to write a blog every other month. It's not the kind of blog where we're sharing recipes or things that people just don't care about. Our focus as a team has been actually just kind of educating people on opportunities in the community and nonprofits that are doing good work and don't get showcased enough. Everybody knows things about Planned Parenthood, for example, or HRC, or who knows. But we like to talk about places like Kairos, or we send out gifts every once in a while. I'd say probably quarterly to just a few clients. We don't spam them with things, but we just recently found a company here in Portland that does nut butters, and so we're going to send these nut butters out. And the cool thing is that it's a company that works with underserved population to teach them how to run their own business, and supporting those kinds of things in our community are really important to us. And I think that our clients get great joy in learning about, oh, wow, this nonprofit exists.
Yeah, totally.
Because there's so many.
Yeah, for sure. We talk about collabs a lot as well. And I think this is the perfect example of doing that. So can you tell us just really quickly, like how you go through that process of like not choosing the place, but you've chosen the place. So now what do? You reach out and kind of your intention behind that and what you're hoping
we're really fair about things because we're usually ordering, maybe 30 gifts or something.
Yeah.
And so we don't usually ask for any kind of discount or anything, but we do. If it's something that's being direct mailed from them, like for example, back in the spring, we did these, I think they're called mealy wraps, which are made out of beeswax, and it's sustainable wax paper that you can use to wrap your food instead of saran wrap. And it's cool because they're washable. You can reuse them. They come with cute patterns on them.
Nice.
This company's made out of Bend. And so they were able to direct mail to all of our clients with a custom little printout thing that said, hey, thinking of you, and we always put a dumb dad joke in there or something so that people laugh. And 9 times out of 10, people are just really appreciative. And it doesn't cost a whole lot. And
it's thoughtful.
It is thoughtful, and it keeps you relevant and top of mind.
Totally. So you reach out to the business. Do you do anything extra, like ask them for, maybe ask them to put, hey, we're sending these out for, on their Instagrams or whatever?
Yeah, we haven't really asked for that. There's been a few events that I've hosted where, for example, I farm my neighborhood, and back in July, I decided to host a social distance ice cream party with an ice cream truck that showed up and gave the neighborhood free ice cream. They wound up actually taking these yard signs home, or one of them home, that Tracy made for me that says, together we will see this through.
Yeah.
it was pretty cool because they had a photo of me of the truck and put it on Instagram and all that stuff. And I wasn't expecting that.
Yeah.
It's funny to think, that's a missed opportunity. That's a place that I could maybe benefit, because everything is about repetition, getting your name out there, having people just recognize it.
Yeah. And I feel like that's a part that does get missed. I think I did one of our podcast bites on collaborations, and I was like, don't forget that side of it. It's easy for me to say because I'm not in the thick of it like you guys are. But when you're collabing, like meeting with that company and just saying, here's what we want to get out of it. We would really love it if you also shared that, they probably aren't thinking about that. Like, oh, that's a great opportunity for us to also showcase somebody else and talk about what we've done for other people. It's just another way for them to market to their people as well. And then maybe you get, a phone call out of it, or
that's definitely
hey, I really loved, the ice cream truck idea. That was so cute, or,
Well, and that's the funny thing about a referral based business too, is, it takes one friend to tell that friend that they should call you.
Yeah.
But then they see something else about you on the internet randomly.
Right.
And then maybe they drive past one of your signs.
Yep.
And then before you know it, they've called you.
Yeah.
And they're not interviewing other people.
Right.
And they know you're going to get the job done.
It's a referral. And that's the other thing that realtors do a lot, is they're like constantly thinking about referrals and asking for referrals, but maybe they're only asking one group of people, which is their clients, after closing, like, I love referrals, let your friends know. But
what about your neighbors?
Yeah, there's so many other ways to ask for referrals without asking for referrals.
It's true.
So I think that's something to think about when anybody is planning. Right now, it's October is coming up, so pumpkin patches and all that stuff is happening. There's no reason that you can't go in and also having a plan, a little mini business plan around it. You're putting a lot of time and effort into it, and
it is really important to have that calendar.
Yeah.
We do a calendar in the fourth quarter for the following year, and what our marketing plan is, and so we know, hey, this week we're going to do pop buys. Hey, this is the month that the blog needs to be done. This is the month that the mailer goes out. And keep it simple.
Yeah, exactly.
It doesn't have to be a lot.
Yeah.
People genuinely enjoy hearing from you.
Totally. Yeah. I was in what was that? I can't remember where I was, but a realtor she did so many events, but she lived in a really small town. So she was the realtor. Like, she had an old farm truck that had her, Remax and stuff all over it. It was super cute, but she was almost doing events like every other month. Like, it was so much, but she had a playbook. So she, has a team of not only her, her realtor team, but also, she involves the title company and the mortgage and the small business that she's working with, but she has an entire playbook. So if somebody's down on her team or whatever, it's just like a sports team, then somebody can pick that up because it's in the playbook. So I thought that was a really cute idea. And also just to keep your mind sane, because when you have an event like that and you have all your people coming, you want it to be successful and you want everything to go smoothly. And you also want to try to have a good time at the same time.
Which can be really hard, know. We usually I do annual pumpkin patch at my house. This year, unfortunately, I'm not going to do it just because of the pandemic. I'm trying to figure out, okay, how do I make sure that only 40 people come at a time? And then how, But last year it was awesome, and instead of calling it a client appreciation party, I just call it Breylan's Pumpkin Patch. And the neighbors love it because it's like, what person has 500 pumpkins delivered to their house with hay bales and a professional photographer? And we had a s'mores cart, and it became this just really cute thing.
Yeah.
I'm sad to not be having it this year, but
what are you going to do instead?
I've really been struggling with that just with the pandemic thing. It's hard because we have to toe the line of, hey, I want to see you in a social distance and responsible way. Right. Yeah. But I feel like as a broker, I have to be a leader in the community, and it would be irresponsible to host a giant event like that, especially when the health and safety of my clients is the utmost importance.
Right.
I'm not sure if we're going to do something like that this year at all for October, but I did the ice cream truck back in July, and that was nice because everybody could be outside with masks, and really people just came up, grabbed an ice cream and then walked on. A few people stayed and talked. the weekend before everything shut down, I had hosted a coffee cart in my driveway, which was a really cool thing.
Yes.
And they're fun things to do. They're not that expensive, and it's a great reason to get to know your neighbors. And, you know, in this instance, I've lived in this community for 2 years and I've closed 16 houses in there, including my own. And I have 2 more listings coming on. And somehow I've become the realtor of choice, despite there being 8 brokers living in this little 300 home community. Yeah.
Nice.
So
that's how you stand out, folks.
Well, it's, you know, it's fun.
I mean, sometimes it's just that simple, you know, not that it's simple. I'm sure a lot of work goes into it, but once you do it, you know, and maybe it's something you do every year, you know, most people do that. They do something consistent. They do the same thing. And so people expect it. They look forward to it and that kind of thing. But yeah, we're going to have to get a little more creative this year, especially for us in Portland with winter coming.
I know.
And we can't be outside. Well, we can, but nobody likes to be outside.
No, 20 degrees outside and freezing.
Right. Exactly. So I want to jump back to, you talked a little bit about your accountability group. Are you still a part of that? Like, who's your realtor community within? Like, who do you go to, and like, what kinds of things are you involved in, and what's that look like for you?
Well, you know, it's funny. Like, real estate is so cute because everybody starts the year off with just the best intentions, and then life happens. And, you know, if you hang out with a lot of top producers, you realize that these people are working 70, 80, 100 hours a week sometimes. And, you know, it's like, even if they don't have a lot in escrow, they're always shaking the tree, you know, getting that business. So these accountability groups, we start them and then they just kind of fizzle out by the time the spring market comes. And then everybody's so exhausted at the end of summer that it's like, oh God, maybe we'll do that again in January. Next year.
Right.
And so that's one thing that's been really cool about my relationship with Cathy, is that when our original accountability group went from 7 brokers involved to just Cathy and I meeting, we just decided to just continue
keep
to
doing it in a different way.
So even though Cathy has her business and I have my business, we have a team meeting on Mondays, just over Zoom, you know, where we go over Cathy's files in escrow, my files in escrow, upcoming buyers, upcoming, you know, listings, and those kinds of things. And it's nice because everybody is on the same page, or at least knows a little bit about what's going on in the other person's business.
Yeah.
So if something does happen, you know, or if you do want to take a break, or, you know, even just an afternoon off, sometimes it's nice to just say, hey, these are the people that might be reaching out, or these are the things that really need to get done, you know?
Yeah. Do you guys split, or do you share every listing, or do you sometimes do your own? She sometimes does her own, and then you guys come together on some?
We come together on some, only really when we've been referred as a pair.
Oh, okay.
Or sometimes, you know, if Cathy's too busy to have just one client and I'm in a lull, then I'll work the client, you know, and vice versa sometimes.
It's just happening naturally.
Yeah. But I'd say overwhelmingly, like 95% of our business is us just being there to support each other. So I am listed on all of her listings as co-list, and she's on all of mine as co-list, you know, just in case somebody can't get a hold of me.
Then they don't feel like they have to call a stranger.
Right.
Yeah.
Or there's just someone to reach out to.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Yeah. That's really smart.
It's great.
I wonder if more people do that. I just don't know.
Well, and the cool thing too is that we just have the overhead of our staff and our own desk fees.
Yeah.
You know, and then whatever our marketing expenses are.
Yeah.
And there's none of that, oh, you're selling more than me right now, and I'm taking a cut of your commission, so I feel bad about it. And vice versa. You know, I think that's where it gets really
weird.
Mucky,
yeah.
You know?
It gets weird.
It's not great. So
No. Nobody wants to feel that.
And it's also nice just with our admin team too. You know, it's like somebody wants to take a vacation. Let's talk about it. How does that affect, you know, what we think's going on with the marketing?
Yeah.
What's, you know,
who's going to take over what? Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Or things come up in business. So the other thing that's terrific is that we really share our robust network of people that we like working with. You know? So a big thing that we offer clients is knowing who we trust for plumbing, electrical, roofing, all this stuff. Listing preparation, you know, big thing for me is getting a house really buttoned up and ready for the market. And that takes a lot of coordination. I bring a lot of value there.
Yeah. So. Yeah, totally. Do you guys have, I know a lot of people try to have like vendor lists, or, you know, just like you said, all your contractors and people. Do you guys keep that somewhere to share, or do you just, as people call in, you know,
reach out? all of our people in Google Drive, our own systems in place that way. But we really encourage our clients to reach out to us because for me, there's nothing more frustrating than catching up with someone that I sold a house to 4 or 5 years ago that suddenly had a sewer problem or something, and they went to the most expensive sewer company and paid double or triple sometimes.
And it was a terrible job.
Yes. Actually, that just happened with clients of mine that were, it's an estate situation. They've been working on clearing the house for the last 2 years or so. The sewer line failed, created a big backup into the basement. They called a restoration company. Restoration company did everything, but they were almost 6 months late in finishing the project. And while they were replacing the sewer line, they nicked the water line. So they wound up spending over $41,000 on a new water line and a sewer line for a property. And that blows my mind because I just got a water line for my property for $2,700.
Oh my gosh.
So I would rather know what's going on in my clients' properties and kind of be there as an ear for maintenance and recommendations. And, I need a new roof. Here's the product I recommend. This is what we see inspecting really well right now. It's helpful information. And I think people truly appreciate it. Yeah.
And I think that just because I know you, I feel like every business has certain types of people, right? There's someone for everyone. Like sometimes there'll be a weirdo realtor and people are like, how do they get business? Well, there's weirdo people to go with that weirdo realtor,
there's
right?
Business for everyone.
There is. Yeah, exactly. And you don't want that weirdo client. You want the weirdo client to go to the weirdo realtor,
Sure,
right?
Yeah.
But I think that it's something genuine about that. It's not about like, it's hard to explain, but I'm sure everybody knows what I'm talking about. It's not just about the referral or about, I got to make sure that I got to stay in front of them so that they keep coming back to me. It's about your clients and you care about them and you don't want them overspending or, what do we always hear from clients? They're like, well, I didn't want to bother you or I just didn't think about it or whatever. So staying in front of them is good for other reasons.
Oh, for sure.
Other than.
Yeah. And it's not like, oh, you just bought this house in March. I want you to sell it.
Yeah.
Exactly. It's like, hey, think of me when your coworker says they're thinking about buying a house.
Right.
But also you need a new AC.
Yeah.
This is who you should talk to.
Yes, exactly.
And it's amazing, like just being that wealth of knowledge. I always tease I'm Ask Jeeves for Portland real estate because I've got someone for everything, and
if you really don't, you'll find them. I mean, that's the thing is we don't always have all the answers, but I'll get that for you,
exactly.
And then following back up and not forgetting about them.
I mean, that's probably the hardest thing in real estate because I always say I feel like a plastic bag in the wind, but if I don't respond as soon as I see it, I won't.
Yeah.
And so time is of the essence for me. I like to be timely. And if it's asking for a babysitter or if it's asking for where should we go to dinner, or those kinds of things, that goes a long way.
Yeah, totally. And I also think too that, people, again, it's about the relationship. It always comes back down to that. It's just what you want. Okay. Is there anything else that we missed that we need to talk about?
I think consistency in marketing is huge.
Yes.
Yeah. People have their logos, they have their fonts, they have their colors, that's cool. But one thing I think that makes me stand out as a listing agent is the attention to detail in my descriptions. And, you see a lot of realtors just throw together a 1-page flyer on a property because
they have to.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And it's like my job as a listing agent is to infatuate a buyer with the home. Yeah. And I take that very seriously.
Or at least get them intrigued enough to want to go see the inside.
Yeah, they want to see it in person. I mean, what are you going to buy for $500,000 with just a little...
Right.
1-page sheet of some iPhone photos.
Totally. And what I like about, you and a lot of agents is that you just said it with the consistency part, but you're consistent whether you really have to work really, really hard to sell a house or whether you don't even have to put out a flyer because it'll sell itself, but you still do it.
Yeah.
And I think
it shows pride in my work.
Yes.
And pride in the client's home. Yeah. High quality marketing is so important.
Yeah. Whether it's a $200,000 house or $1 million house, they both get the same.
Absolutely.
The same treatment, the same, book.
We live in such a culture too that, things are hard to do. And the more challenging something is, the less likely you are to want to do it.
Yeah.
So if you can make it just easy and beautiful, it's worth it.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's a part of your, your business and the machine that works behind the scenes, is that you don't have to come up with the things. They're already there. You just drop them in. It's almost like making everything a template, not just the flyer, but just also how you're marketing,
Totally.
the house and all of that. Are you doing open houses right now?
I've just started doing opens 2 weekends ago.
How was that?
It's fine. Cathy and I partnered with Windemere and had some PPE kits made. So there's just in a little basket next to the shoe booties and all that stuff in the house, there's a disposable mask and gloves and hand sanitizer and stuff for the safety of our clients that are still occupying their homes, because not everybody has the luxury of being able to move out and paint and stage and do all the fun stuff to make a house pretty,
right?
So we have these kits. I am having people sign in just for contract tracing, just in case. And we're allowing 2 or 3 groups, depending on the size of the house, through at a time.
Yeah.
To be honest with you, I don't really enjoy open houses. I mean, out of all the things that we do as realtors, that's my least favorite.
Yeah.
It's nice to meet new people, and I enjoy that aspect. I definitely pick up clients at open houses and stuff, but I just hate lugging signs out of my car and driving all over the neighborhood and putting them on corners and that kind of stuff. And
it's not for everyone. And,
it's not.
And, and I think that's the other thing that, realtors need to hear, is that you don't have to do all the things.
No. Also, sometimes it's great just to pay another broker in the office to hold it open.
Especially if a seller wants one every weekend or whatever. And you're like, oh no.
Absolutely.
And there's people that love them.
Opportunity to meet new clients.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'm like, I don't need new clients right now.
Yeah.
And of course I want to sell your house. But as a broker, when I'm showing houses on weekends, I hate having to wait in line at an open house.
Yeah.
When I had an appointment scheduled.
Yep.
So it's a delicate dance.
I didn't even think about, why would they have showing times during an open house?
Well,
never mind.
Not everybody's very nice.
I drove by, I'm looking myself, and I just wanted to drive by this house, and they happened to be having an open house. The house just went on the market. It was super cute. I knew it was going to go fast. And there wasn't a line. There were just like 8 groups of people just scattered about. And I was like, I am not waiting. I'm not doing that. I'll just wait until tomorrow and I'll go in on my own. But I mean, we're in Portland. And so weather has a big factor on that.
And it's interesting because I think our city's almost like a refuge right now. You've got all these people moving. It's funny. There's like all these people leaving Portland because they think it's too big. But in regard to West Coast cities, we're nowhere near as dense as Seattle or San Francisco, Oakland, even, California is on fire right now. Right. I mean, people are coming in droves, and I think more people being able to telecommute, their incomes, their California incomes go a lot further in Oregon. Yeah. It's going to be interesting seeing what the next 6 or 8 months or even year is going to look like in Portland, because we're in such an inventory challenge. Yeah. And I don't see that changing until at least May next year.
Right. Do you see houses coming on the market because of foreclosure?
Not yet. It'll be interesting to see. Americans have more equity in their homes than really ever before. And 83% of American wealth is in real estate, which is amazing. I think that people have far too much to lose. Yeah. And so we probably will start seeing not short sales, not foreclosures, but people moving because they simply can't afford it. Yeah. There's a lot of people that have been hit really hard in this economy, and it's super unfortunate.
That's something I want everybody to think about, and whatever market they're in, is that, reaching out to clients, not because you want to list their house, but because you don't want them to have their head in the sand for too long to where they get into a bind, and to really just kind of open that conversation, maybe just checking into your sphere and just seeing if there's anybody that that maybe owned a restaurant and now it's shut down, like reaching out to them and saying, hey, if you can keep your house, I want to help you do that. Like, make sure you reach out to me if you have questions about mortgage or whatever it is that you can do to help,
and support your community too. Yeah. I mean, we are in such a fortunate position, at least now, hoping that the economy, as far as real estate market and all of that stuff continues going strong, we've got to foster the communities that we live in.
Yeah.
And that means supporting nonprofits, that are providing just amazing services,
Yeah.
We also have to pay attention to these fires, It's like 2,700 homes burned down in Talent, Oregon.
Yeah.
They're asking for tents for people to live in down there. We're going into winter. It snows there. This is horrifying.
Yeah, it is.
So we have a responsibility to be leaders in our community.
Yeah.
And really step up, and if you don't feel comfortable donating a whole lot of money, organize something so that you can raise funds and get those donated items. How many people have tents in their garage that they don't need?
Right. Or sleeping bag or or go buy a sleeping bag.
Camping,
Never.
Yeah.
Even though I just got my little mini lake house. It's not camping. It's glamping. But I totally agree with and finding out what people need. Don't just take it upon yourself to do a sock drive or, what I'm saying? Be intentional about it and really look into what is it that people need. I think far too often, and yes, you have a big heart and that's great, but really make sure it's something that they need.
Put it towards something relevant.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Don't just throw something together because you think,
it's a crisis right now in so many ways. Thinking of these families and what they're going through with, I have 2 clients with first graders right now. And, that's really hard because their kids had such a great schooling experience for kindergarten. Aww. And then to be thrusted in front of a monitor and told to sit there for 6 hours when you're 7 years old. I can't even imagine.
No. Yeah.
And I'm sure a lot of the listeners will agree, working from home with kids at home, with pets at home, with husbands at home. It's crazy.
All the stories.
So we also need to lead with tenderness and care, not just for our clients, but also the people that we work with.
Yeah.
Co-op brokers, people writing offers on listings that you have, or people that you're writing offers on their listings. Let's have some patience and be kind.
Yeah. Always, not just now, but all the time.
You don't know what people are going through.
Yeah, totally. And I think you brought up a great point and another opportunity to reach out to your people and send them something funny in the, as a door drop off or whatever that has to do with the kiddos, everybody being trapped in the house or whatever. I mean, send them on a little scavenger hunt or something cute, think about and do something for your families and make it relevant to what's going on with them right now.
I think it's important to have a sense of humor. That's the only way we're really going to get through this. I always send an ornament out to my clients that bought in the year with the year on it. I was just on Instagram and it was a toilet paper roll that said 2020 as an ornament. And I just thought that is just hilarious.
That's perfect. Everybody's getting one of those. Yeah. That's so funny. Yeah. We're all ready for 2020 to be over. Yeah.
That's true.
Thank you, Breylan, for being here. We could talk all day.
Well, thanks so much for having me. This has been awesome. I'm just so proud of you and everything that you've done here with all things real estate.
Thank you.
It's amazing that this was just the smallest, cutest little paper 8 years ago. And
so
here
weird.
You are today.
Same to you.
Oh.
I mean, we were sitting on bar stools when I said, you're going to real estate school and signed you up right there at the bar.
You did.
Oh my gosh. So funny. Everybody has a good real estate story. There should be like a Reddit or something thread of how everybody became realtors.
I think the biggest thing though with real estate is so many people enter this industry thinking oh, these people are my competition, blah, blah, blah.
No.
It's no, they're your community.
Yep. Exactly.
And you want to be respectful.
Yeah. And be supportive of one another.
Totally.
Don't be an asshole.
Tracy for president.
Woohoo. No, thank you. Nobody wants that job. All right, Breylan. Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
Love you.
Love you too. Bye.